Hi, it's Lots of Bots here, and today I'm doing a interview with John Anthony, and he is the owner of John Anthony Signals, which I get a lot of good feedback about him. So how are you doing, John?
I'm very well, sir. Thank you very much. Good morning to you. I think it's good afternoon for me, though.
That is true. Your time slot is a little bit ahead of mine, just by a little bit. What we're discussing today is controversy has hit John Anthony Signals, and you've had some MLM marketers who know nothing about binary options or trading come in and started reselling your signals without paying you a dime. And, they're basically using you to promote their service. Horrible, horrible things. But to start off with, let's get a little bit of background about John, and can you give me a brief history of your service and how it came into being, John?
Yeah, of course. So my professional background is actually a forex trader.
Okay.
And as with a lot of traders, we're always looking for other ways to increase our income and our revenue and be able to use our skills. And binary options sort of exploded onto all of us, I'd say really back in 2010, 2011, even though it had been around a couple of years before that. So a lot of us Forex guys and traders in general were drawn to it just because it was attractive and it was quick and it was easy. And, well, when I say easy, that's not being disrespectful to anybody else, but, we liked the simplicity of it.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, yeah, I got involved in trading binary options, and it was quite a bizarre journey to how I got to offering my signal service. It was more of a freak meeting of two people, which was a chap at a party here in London, and we got chatting. He had an IT company. We got discussing all sorts of different things, and then eventually it gets on to business, as it does.
Was this while you were drunk, or
was it what? Sorry,
I said, were you drinking at the time when you discussed this?
Yeah,
you must have been real fun at a party if you're
flowing
discussing.
nicely. It does when you're at these places, and the conversation gets louder and louder as they do. But we hit it off, and this IT guy, he did a bit of trading himself. We got discussing all sorts of X, Y, and Z, and that was it really. It was only a couple of weeks later where we stayed in contact, and again with these things, you swap business cards, and you always say, I'll call you up and we'll discuss this and that. Anyway, I was having major problems with my own computer in my office, and I said, I thought to myself, I'll call this guy Dave up, I'll get him round, he can have a look at it. And he came round because we lived in the same part of London.
Oh, that's cool.
And when he walked into my office, he was like, geez, man, it looks like a bomb's hit. What's all this about? And I'm like, this is my day today. This is what I do. So there was bits of paper and newspaper just kind of scribbled on it.
So you're basically telling us you're messy, John. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. But this is what a lot of traders are like. They're all a bit bizarre with their ways that they do things. But it worked for me. Anyway, This guy Dave said to me, I'm sure I could simplify all this for you. I could make it a lot more straightforward. And cut a long story short, we sat down for many weeks, many evenings, because we both worked during the day, and during the evenings we sat down and we put together a system that would notify me with my strategies and my techniques when a potential opportunity was there within the market. Okay. It was at that point also that Dave turned around and said, you've got something here. You can't tell me that you're the only guy that would be able to benefit from this system. I was reluctant at first. It wasn't something that I was particularly keen on. At the time, I was also chatting to a few friends of mine just through Facebook and things like that, and they were also traders. And they said the same. They said, yeah, if it works the way that you say it works, then you've got something that you could take to the masses, so to speak.
Okay.
And next thing you know, what you see is what you've got.
All right. So when did this come about, though? As far as binary options, you've been doing it for quite a while, but the signals themselves, when did you start the service?
So the actual service was launched, I believe, and don't quote me completely, but it was sometime around August of last year.
Okay.
It was certainly the middle of last year.
Mm-hmm. And you had been trading binary options for a year or 2 years before then, or?
Since around about 2010.
2010. Okay. I see. So you've been at the binary options a while, and then August of last year, and probably you had a good period of months where you guys were putting this together, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say that really from the original idea and sitting down and bouncing ideas off of each other, it was probably back around about February of last year, February, March time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's when I started hearing about you, probably in the summer of last year, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And,
so we had,
and you've got a good reputation. I got to tell you, that's number one. If I get I get a lot of feedback from different people because I've got a strange following myself of people who are demented. I don't know why anybody would follow me, but okay. They provide me with feedback from different people that they get signals from or whatever, and brokers, you name it, and they always say good things about you. Normally I'm not a big fan of signal providers because I generally am a trader. I trade, but I hear good things about you. So you've got a service. You started in probably February of last year, and things are going good. You're becoming popular, and then comes this past week, and you get. What happens from there? How did you find out about options domination, stealing your signals and reselling them to their fan base and so forth?
So this was last Wednesday. So we're on Tuesday afternoon currently. So last Wednesday, it seemed to all happen very, very quickly. So I had a couple of emails. In fact, I'd had one email off of a chap who I don't have an awful lot of contact with. We'd discussed certain things, in the past, and he mentioned, I think somebody has kind of cracked your system. And I said, right, okay, I find that hard to believe, but okay, fine. Either that or you've done a deal with them. I said, okay, fine. So I said, well, I haven't done a deal with anybody, so get that out of your mind straight away, but I'll take a look at them and I'll see. And I had a quick look at the website, and I didn't really think much of it at the time. I didn't dig deep into it. I just kind of had a quick glance, and then what with one thing and another, something else caught my eye, and I was probably off trading or chatting to somebody about the signals, etc.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, somebody through my personal Facebook page, a woman that I know, she messaged me and she said, "I've just seen your signals being copied." And I thought to myself, okay, this is now the second time in 24 hours that somebody's mentioned this to me. I need to really have a little look at this. Mm-hmm. So I sat down with my tech guy and I said, I highlighted him to the situation and I said, we need to look into this and we need to find out what's going on. So we found the Option Domination's website, and we had, as much as people have argued this with me throughout the course of the last 7 days, we managed to obtain access by paying. We paid $49.99. There was obviously a temporary loophole or something along those lines, but we managed to pay the money over. Mm-hmm. We got access to their system, and we were looking at what we perceived to be a live table. In fact, it was a live table. So nothing was coming through at the time, but it was advertised and marketed as being their live table. Okay. Now, when we first looked at it, I thought to myself, you know what, let's not go bowling in too strong here. These guys obviously like the style that we promote and that we have presented to everybody.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're taking your signals. Right, you're trying to be objective.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Give them
thinking to
the
myself,
doubt, the
I
benefit
like
of the doubt.
Sorry, say that again.
I said giving them the benefit of the doubt because you don't want to go over
Absolutely.
and say
Yeah, I
that
was
somebody's
giving
stealing your signals.
yeah, I was giving the benefit of the doubt. I like the design because that's what I offer. So of course I'm going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get too upset if somebody else likes it as well. So I I was looking at it from that angle. I was trying to be very conservative about it, and the more that we were going through, and I was bringing up both my signals and their signals right up until the evening before, they were absolutely identical.
Oh
So
wow!
straight away,
Light
there's no
bulb.
questioning the fact that these guys were copying, mirroring exactly what we were doing.
Now, were they just showed you a table of your trades, or how were they propagating the signals? What were you getting your own signals? Boy, that must be bizarre.
Well, the thing is that it was part of. I did a video myself on this review, which is how you and I came to become in contact. I think that's what alerted you as
Right.
well. And the table at the time, it was as though it was delayed. So, for example, I was looking London GMT time. I think I was looking at around about 10 or 11 o'clock last Wednesday morning, and there were no signals. Even though I'd given some signals on that Wednesday morning, it's as though they weren't being pushed across to their table.
Right.
So, as far as I was concerned, I'd paid some money. I'd gone to their website. I'd paid $49.99. I was now had access as a paying customer to their signals. I didn't know anything about this company. So as far as I was concerned, I was looking at a live signals table.
Okay.
Okay.
But they weren't live signals; they were really delayed. Is that what you're saying?
It seemed as though they were delayed from the previous night, but up until the previous evening, my signals were there.
Okay.
Okay. So I didn't physically see a live signal come in while sitting there. If I had seen one come in, then that would be I would have started chucking some manual ones in, and I'd have been able to clearly see that they were my signals.
Oh my, you could have a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah, I could have had a great fun.
But yeah, okay. So when you saw this, so you were seeing your signals being propagated on their promotion page or whatever they're doing that you are now a member of. So okay.
The other thing also is that, and it's a point that I want to make, and obviously you as a trader will completely understand this. If I give a signal to you, or I give a signal to anybody, the chances of two signal providers giving the same asset pair at the same time with the same entry price, the same direction, and the same suggested expiry time the odds have got to be 1,000,000 to 1 for one signal.
They're ridiculously, that's not likely to happen.
Of course. So the chances of that happening once is, like I said, the odds I wouldn't even be able to calculate.
Right.
To be able to do it page after page after page, and bearing in mind, we went back weeks and weeks on their table, because they had a load now button, which is exactly the same as mine. They held the same amount of signals within each of their tables each time. It went on and on and on, and I'm randomly picking dates and assets and signals. They were identical. They were mini pip perfect.
Okay, and so basically they were just taking your service and shooting it onto theirs and saying that it was theirs. And not giving you, they didn't mention you, or there was nothing to the word, where they came from or anything like that. There was
no, not at all.
None at all.
There was no
Absolutely.
No reference of me whatsoever.
And they never approached you or said that we wanted to make a deal with you or anything to that effect either.
Nothing whatsoever.
Wow. All right.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just saying the first contact that I had with anybody from that company was when I had was after I did my video on YouTube, and I said at the bottom or at the end, email me, send me a Skype message, whatever you want to do, if you want to discuss any of this with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only at that point that their director, owner, I don't know exactly what his full position was, but certainly somebody who is perceived to be very high up within that company, contacted me and said, please add me on Skype. You know, I want to discuss this with you.
Okay, and what did he discuss with you? Well, before we get to that part, you know, we'll save that a little bit later. How did you, when you saw your own signals coming across and knowing that these were your signals, because you looked at them for a couple of weeks and you could see, you know, trade for trade, they were yours.
Yeah.
How did that make, when, you know, how did you feel and what did you think when you figured it out? You know, what went through John Anthony's mind, seeing that your service being sold to somebody else and not even being able to get anything for it?
Yeah, I think that it was it was initially it was just frustration and anger. You know, I know how many thousands and thousands of hours we've spent putting this together. I know the pain and the heartache, and you know the number of times that we've all looked at each other at 4 o'clock on a Sunday morning or whatever it may be, going, what on earth are we doing? Is this really the answer? And very quickly, you go back to those times, and you think, how dare they? How dare this company, whoever they are, I don't care how big they are, how small they are, how dare they do this, sneak in through the back door, make out as though their hard work is something that actually us guys here have been doing. And when I say us guys, fine, it's my strategies and it's my techniques and, my reasoning as to why you get these signals. But the technical side of it is done by an absolutely world-class team and people that have, given up their free time as well. I mean,
right. This is your business. I want this to be a clear point. This is your business that they are stealing. Okay. Yeah. And I want to use that word strongly because that's simply what's going on. Mm-hmm. And they're promoting this. And, this is your service, John. This is not theirs. This is yours. So they're taking your service and they're using it to make money. And they're not even paying you for it. They're not even a partnership and so forth. And that is just wrong. There's no way about it. And you should be angry. I could understand, so this happens, and what's your course? What are you gonna do? I mean, how are you planning on going to protect your service and your signals? What is this going to cause John Anthony to do?
I think the truth is that I don't know what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's honestly the truth. I mean, I have thought about this over the last week, and I've had a lot of time to calm myself down and.
Initially, you must have been, livid. I mean, you must have been jumping up and down, I would imagine. Oh,
initially. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. In that first 24 hours, there were numerous phone calls to our legal company that we deal with, our lawyers. So we had conversations with them.
And you should. Okay.
Yeah, just simply because we didn't know the position and we didn't know what we should be doing.
Well, let me tell you that nicely enough, that these MLM guys, these different guys, are incorporated in the United States. And if you were to, go legally against them, they're very easy to come and to get. And that goes from Reggie all the way up to DS Domination themselves, because DS Domination is now liable for what these offset of these guys are doing because it's connected to their platform. So let's make that completely, DS Domination is completely liable for the actions of their members and what they're promoting as a service.
And I think that's another point to make as well, is that I didn't realize, again, last Wednesday was the very first time I'd even heard of DS Domination. It's not my industry, it's not my...
It's nothing to do with binary options. It blows my mind, John.
So, I mean, it's not something that would have ever come up on my radar of any interest or anything like that, because it's not my business.
I completely understand why it wouldn't be, it's an amazing thing. These eBay / Amazon arbitrageurs are coming in and doing binary options. It blows your mind. But okay, the world is weird. I don't know what to say on that part there, but what kind of information did you develop these past few weeks and so forth after finding out that they're taking your signals? What have you done as far as background information? Because I'm going to provide you with plenty, and I like doing research. What have you done yourself?
The only information that I know is that there is a chap that seems to be the president and the brains and the guy who launched DS Domination, who's called Roger. I don't actually know his second name, Langley, something like that. Mm-hmm. I've had one small amount of contact with him.
Okay, and what did he say? Because this goes back to the what you were saying before. What
he was almost trying to distance himself from the situation.
Mm-hmm. But it's connected to their platform. Okay, let's make that very clear. That's the biggest liability for them, is that they're using their platform. It's the DS Domination platform to sell and promote this options domination. They can't separate themselves. So they're 100% liable for the actions of their members, Reginald Stinson, and what he's doing. And it's basically stealing from you, and likely from others, and as I've seen with the free systems that he's trying to resell for $97, that's just scummy. But that's their logic and so forth. But I want to make that absolutely clear that they're liable and so forth. So he basically is trying to distance himself, but yet he's talking to you. That's an interesting...
he was in communications with me, and he was very respectful. I think that the way that I was putting it across was that I was being respectful of their business, because at this stage I didn't know who DS Domination were fully. I didn't really kind of grasp exactly what it was all about. But he was very respectful towards me. This was a comment that he actually put on the YouTube channel, so it was on the YouTube comments underneath the video. Now, unfortunately, the reason why you can't see that anymore is because I disabled the comments, simply because of just a barrage of abuse that I was getting.
Oh, I bet you were.
Yeah.
You went over and... these guys are not... the funny thing is that a lot of the people that I've come across are just marketers, and they're just trying to make ends meet and do their business, which is completely fine, and they seem like really nice people. But like in any organization, you're going to have bad apples. And the people who are running this Sean Agnew and Reginald Stinson, who are all gung-ho about this, are the perpetrators who are working with this company, and they're giving it a bad name by the criminal. I can't say it any other way. That's my own opinion, whatever. But, what they're doing is stealing, and what are you going to say? And if the company itself is not going to go over and try to rally against this, I'm going to be in absolute shock, because what they're doing is wrong, and they simply need to stop. John?
And I think that part of the larger company probably didn't realise that this was going on until the morning that this video was thrown out there.
I agree, and it's probably causing them turmoil, because they're thinking, oh shit, we can get sued, for the actions of these people. What are they doing? What are you guys doing? And let me tell you, this Reginald Stinson's a knob. He's not a traitor. And he's coming out there portraying himself as this traitor and so forth. Well, I'm sure he looks really good if he's using your signals or somebody who is a traitor's signals and systems and promoting it as his own. But he's just a knob marketer, and he's selling it as this pivot, this pillar of knowledge, and he's not. And that's wrong when, these marketers come out here like Michael Freeman and so forth, and they start doing this. And what's going to happen is they're going to hurt people. And this is what I'm trying to prevent from happening. When they start doing managed accounts through brokers, like they're planning, and trying to hide things on the back end, and keep things on the down low, because that's what they're kind of doing. I can kind of see it already. The trouble's coming. And with your video last week, you're like the first shot over the bow. I'm like, there you go. I said it's going to happen, and sure enough, they toe the line and they fall right into the, doing something that is just going to hurt other people, and they've already started with you, unfortunately.
And I think it's also quite frustrating when, I've always tried to be incredibly transparent with my clients and the people that I discuss trading with. I think the service is very transparent, and
well, you've got, like I said, you got a good reputation. I come across a lot of people that talk to me that are traders, and people who are non-traders that are getting into it. And they said they like your signals. Yeah,
it's great to see new guys coming in and trying to trade and trying to figure it out, because it is an exciting industry to be a part of. You know that. You're a trader yourself. It can beat you around the room sometimes, but then no sooner is it done that, we have the most awesome days ever.
That is true. I mean, well, it all comes down to discipline, money management, focus. I can go on and on about all the things
Absolutely.
that, and it's just a grind. It's like any other job. You just have to do it day after day after day, good and bad. You're not going to always have a great day. And but
it's going to suit some people, and it's not going to suit others.
Exactly.
That's something else with it as well.
But if you're offering a service and you're transparent, then that's all you need to be. But staying on this options domination, what they're doing is wrong, and they're stealing your signals, and it's going to affect you, and probably others. There are going to be other people they're going to probably do this to. Hopefully, the directors of the company will see that they're making themselves exceptionally liable by the actions of these people who are trying to both sell the DS domination and the binary options combined. Okay, they're taking a platform base that they have with the multi-level marketers, and they're turning it into for the binary options field. And they're doing it in a way stealing your service, which blows my mind. And so have you thought of any ways that you might change your service or change the way, offering signals, maybe not even offering signals by doing money management, or what are your plans from, having this happen to you?
I mean, I think that we're certainly going to continue giving the service that we've got. So providing signals to people, there's a huge gap in the market, and this is not something we're certainly not going to throw the towel in. So that's one thing I want to put out there straight away. From a technical point of view, the guys that I've got in my office, they've got a number of ways in which they can put sort of security in place and be able to track if anybody is trying to piggyback, because that's what we've kind of renamed it in the last few days, is piggybacking off of us. And I think the other thing also is just to continue keeping our heads held high, keep your chins up, provide this quality service, maintain the reputation that we've already got, and also it goes back to that fact of these being unique signals. If you offer a slightly different signal to me, as we all know, we can lose a signal by 1 mini pip, and if you and I are both going to go head to head and offer signals, then so be it. But it's not going to be the same service, and I think that from our point of view, we will just maintain a high quality service with happy customers and happy traders, and just keep ploughing through it. And I think, I really want to try and put this behind us at some point. It would be absolutely, I think the right thing to do would be to get some sort of an official public apology from them, because we haven't even touched.
And you deserve that. You absolutely deserve that.
I think I do deserve it, and I think my team deserve it as well. We haven't even touched on the conversation of the evidence that we actually found. It was more than just there we saw it on a table. I mean, they were using it in webinars, they were using it in email campaigns, they were using it in videos with one of the directors or boss, whatever you want to call him, saying clearly, these are our results from yesterday.
Were there any certain people that stuck out?
Sorry, say again?
Were there any certain individuals that stuck out that kept showing up and so forth with this?
Yeah, there's one chap in particular, the chap who first originally contacted me on Skype.
Oh, really? So he was in the videos and promoting this?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. And that was the Roger... What
Sorry?
was it? Roger something?
No, this was a chap called Hitesh.
Hitesh. Oh, wow. That's the... actually, that's the second man down on DS domination. He is the tech side of DS domination.
Okay, well, I mean...
so you saw him going over promoting your service.
There are live webinars that I have got copies of, and at certain points when he's explaining what the option domination system and service is all about, there is a particular point where he clearly says, and he shows a screenshot with inverted commas, his signals, saying, these are our results from yesterday.
Okay.
And at the same time, I showed that they were not his results from yesterday, they were my results from yesterday.
Wow. Okay, so it goes deep into the actual DS domination. Wow. And what about Reginald Stinson? Did he pop up?
Can I just also add that it was during the conversation that I had with him where he proceeded to start calling this a placeholder. So he said to me, the reason I used your signals was as a placeholder. It was to show my clients what our system will look like. He said, I commend you for your design.
But okay.
I like what you've done. You can't criticize me for copying your style. To which I agree. And I said that at the beginning of this video. I would have almost been quite proud of the fact that he liked our style and our design, but it was deeper than that.
Right. He's just trying to make himself not liable.
Of course he is, yeah. He was looking, I think, for that, well, not I think, I know. He was looking for the quick get out and say, do you know what, let's just brush this little guy away because he's starting to annoy me now. I'm just going to make out as though it was for illustration purpose.
Only, right.
Not at one point is there anything that said, on any of the evidence that I found, where it said that what he was providing to people was for illustration purpose. And it was going on Facebook, and it was going
Of course
YouTube,
not. Of course
blah,
not.
Blah, blah, blah,
That's the two-faced marketing of, the way it works and so forth. Say one thing but mean something else type of deal. Which, as a trader, we can't do that. We have to work off of the truth, period. Pure.
Of course.
You either win or you lose. Everything else is...
I was just going to say, you're either in the money or you're not.
That's right. And everything else is bullshit. So when we come across people like this who are marketing and being, no truth in advertising, the old adage, we just throw our hands up in the air and say, what? You're full of shit. And he is. And the point of the matter is they're using your service and the form that they're using it, who cares? They're using your service to sell theirs. And you're not even getting paid for it. You're not even a partnership or nothing. You're an afterthought. They're paying $100 a month to promote and make who knows how much with their giant base of marketers. And if I was you, I'd be totally pissed off, John.
And you've also got to consider it's not just the let's be pissed off because he's got X amount of clients now and I don't. It's that how many of those people were looking at my service,
right,
or would have looked at my service. However, the big machine has come kind of riding through town and sucked everybody up that was potentially looking at our service. So,
So that's what I'll recommend. To close this is that you actually go get the signals directly from John, bypass these internet marketers. And, I hope they change their tune, and they do apologize to you because what they're doing is wrong. And I would sue the pants off them. Legally, they're extremely liable, and what they're doing is, in my view, is very wrong. And it's sad that they don't hold themselves accountable on the higher end of the company. If the second man down is doing this and promoting, and showing your signals and that's just blows my mind. I could understand it being a member like Reginald, doing it and so forth. But when it goes up to the top end of DS domination, which is the MLM, the marketing company, the platform provider, well, then that's a different story. Then this becomes, they're directly liable. I want to make that completely clear. And but I want to thank you for enlightening everybody. And you're a good trader, and you have a good system, and keep doing that. I would recommend. Is there anything you want to close with, John? Anything you?
I think really, and this goes directly to yourself as well. Is really, I just also want to thank people that have got in touch, and I've had some very long conversations with some very intelligent and decent people that have given me a lot of support over the last week, because I didn't realise quite what this company were all about, and they certainly are quite a large beast. And there's some really good quality people have got in touch and are supporting me, and I appreciate that, and yourself being obviously one of them. So,
no problem. Well, if we can, shed light on this and stop stuff like this from happening in the future, prevent people from getting ideas and just doing wrong things. That's all it basically is, doing the wrong thing.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that we live in a world nowadays where everybody proclaims to be doing the right thing, and it's amazing how many people. They don't actually do that, but hey, I'll sleep easy at night, and I'm sure you will as well, knowing that we're trying to do what's right. And I appreciate it, and thanks for getting in touch.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Even if we have to bang a few, bash a few heads in, no problem. I'm more than willing to do that. But to the benefit of people that are deserving, and I think I will count you as one of them.
Thank you. Hopefully, the next interview will be more about the actual service itself, and that'll be a lot more.
I will definitely do that. I'm gonna. What I'll do is we'll see if I can spend some time in your is it a signal room?
Yeah, so it's a website. So it's a website. It's a dynamic page which will constantly update when a signal arrives. So there'll be an alert with a bell, and then it will display the suggested signal at the top of the page there. So if you've got that open and you've got your broker page open as well, then it doesn't matter what you're doing. You can be reading the news or whatever. You can even be kind of in the kitchen making a coffee. You'll hear that.
So you're basically you're a signal provider that shoots out a signal through a web page, and so you could be kicking back, and all you got to do is press a button.
Oh, honestly, some of the stories I hear, some of the ones, they're absolutely hilarious, of kind of guys and girls sliding across the room to flick the laptop on just because they hear the bell go off. It's
that would make a
really
good
good group as well. We've got a Facebook group where we put a post on every single day, and the conversation is obviously surrounding trading, but it's all nice and light-hearted, and everybody's out to support each other. So
that sounds very cool.
Sometime.
Okay, we'll do that in the next thing, because I do want to, like I was telling you before, promote people that deserve to be promoted. So anyway, this is Lots of Bots and John Anthony here. Thank you very much for joining us today and enlightening us on this unfortunate situation. I'm sure options domination and DS domination will want to rectify, won't you? So thanks again, John, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
Appreciate it, and thanks again to yourself.